circle, which you know what that means, folks. We are live with another Money Moves. Hey, Wendy, how's it going?
Hey, John, it's going well. Going well.
Good. Now that we have each other's names set. So we're going to be talking today, folks, about some exciting stuff, not just the name game, but we're going to talk about building wealth. I'm a wealth coach. Wendy does the same with her network. And I don't know about you, Wendy, but I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff repeating itself with middle class time and time again. And it's the same basic mistakes that, we start early on and we just kind of magnify those with our money. Yeah. And we're scratching our head midlife going, why don't I have more? So, folks, what we're going to talk about today, it is time to get real about building your wealth. So we're going to give some tough love today. And if you're set in your midlife or whatever, and you're like, you got all this money stacked up, we're not talking to you today. Right. So don't start blowing us up in social media saying, well, that's not I don't want to hear it. Right. What we're talking about is Main Street, the majority, what's going on. It's time to get real about your money. Do us a favor, click that little subscribe or share button and let some peeps know that, hey, we're about to get real about our money. You need to be on this. And send them the link, and we're going to get started here in just a few seconds. And we're back. I love that intro, but we're going to have to come up with a new one for 2020. You know what it makes me think of, honestly? The Roman Empire. I mean, I feel like Julius Caesar and the Roman Empire every week. I think about it, right? So it's kind of weird. And
I think you think about it every day.
I do, actually, because it applies to so much in America today. So America is the new Roman Empire, and we're following that track all the way over the edge. But we're not talking about the Roman Empire today, although most of our male viewers I know would love that conversation based on TikTok feedback and feedback from our female viewers. But today we're going to talk about getting real about your money. I am just right now we're extremely busy on the financial coaching side of the business. This is not what this is. This is the money education side. But we take from that and apply it out here. So hopefully you, the viewer, can avoid a lot of these pitfalls, or at least start thinking about it and, get with a financial professional, or if you don't have one, get with us, whatever, in order to kind of come up with solutions before you get to, 60, 65, 70 going, what happened? What happened? I don't have any money. You don't get a do-over, folks. So we're going to get real today on our conversation. Wendy, before we jump in, though, I know you've seen the same thing in your sphere of influence with network marketers and women.
Yeah. I feel like it's probably worse with network marketers. I feel like every network marketer we meet with, we're like, what do you want to be making per month in retirement? And they're like, $20,000 a month. Like, how much are you saving? Nothing.
Well, here's the deal. And I get that. So, yeah, no. I mean, and I know a lot of network marketers too, and even entrepreneurs, right? It's not just network marketing, it's business owners, whatever. They're making great money and they think, okay, well, my business is going to continue to go and grow. And it's because they're sold that big dream, right? Think big, and your dream's got to be so big. It's got to include all your massive team too. I get all that. That's great. But let's talk reality. So many things can change over the time. So it's always good to have, backup plans. And, if you've ever read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, I've talked about that a lot. He talks about multiple streams of income. Okay. Building wealth or building an asset is another stream of income, and you've got to have multiple, not one. So if you're in a network marketing thing, or you own a business, or whatever the case may be, or you have a job, that's one stream of income, right? So, definitely, just like you diversify a portfolio, you want to diversify your income strategies too, but you don't just want to have the money coming in, right? And, you look at I've got three big things I want to talk about, as far as getting real about your money. Because I'm telling you, folks, middle class, we need to wake up as a class of people, right? And well, I make 200,000. I'm not middle class. Yes, you are. If you don't have, money stacked up in, your bank, your different accounts, your growth accounts or whatever, I'm not talking just the banks that I'll put my money in a bank. We're not going there today. You need to start realizing we're talking about something called net worth. Okay. Just because you have a bunch of, I'll call it stuff, right? You really know what I'm saying, but I don't want to swear. That doesn't make you wealthy. Okay. If you're living check to check, that doesn't make you wealthy. If you have to use a credit card to pay for your family's vacation, you're not wealthy. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you don't use a credit card for points. Again, we're not getting into technicalities today. If you're the one-off that, oh, hey, I do. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about Main Street America, but, really looking at what I should be putting away, what I should be saving. And when I say save, I'm not talking about the bank. I'm talking about putting towards your future, right? I mean, when I say, and I know the real answer because you've sat on enough of my conversations with clients and things like that, but what do most people, Wendy, what do they think they should be saving in for their retirement? How much? What percentage?
10%.
10%, right? Let's get real. That's a joke. Okay. Think about it. If you were to start off
when you were 5, maybe.
That's what I was literally getting ready to say. If you started off when not even 5, but if you started off when you were like 18, 19, 10%, that's going to go good. But as you make more money, you want to save more money. The more you save today, the earlier you get to retire. And I know a lot of my Gen Z viewers out there, or our Gen Z viewers, excuse me, I want to retire when I'm 40. Why? Why would you retire at 40? And I'm talking the traditional sense of the word, meaning I'm going to stop working and just travel the world and take selfies of myself at all these exotic locations, right? You're going to get so bored. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I had a friend of mine. He retired when he was, I think, 45, and 7 figures, great. And he loved it for the first 3 or 4 months and then got bored off his butt.
Yeah.
And ended up going back in. So, it's, and I know I'm sure you're hearing a lot of that in network marketing too.
Yeah, I think the first thing, right? People don't even understand what retirement is anymore because,
it's changed.
We talked about this back in the day. It was, I get a pension. That's when my pension starts, right? Yep. I get to start drawing on that and I get to go do what I want. Like my aunt, she just retired and she's 63 and now she's bebopping around the country to visit all her kids and all that and pulls her pension and pulls her Social Security. Mm-hmm. But now there's so many people, even the younger generation, right? They are learning how to, it's like everyone has a side hustle, right? And it's like, I think the mentality is I'm going to work really hard for 10 or 15 years and then just like live whatever life I want. And it's like, I mean, something I actually never thought about until getting my financial plan with you is how many years I have to pay for myself in retirement. It's not just, I can stop, right? Yeah, but it's like, if I'm going to live to 95, the earlier I retire, the more years I got to cover.
I know. I mean, and I talk about that to the clients, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to tell you, I'm here to tell you, if you want to, everybody watching this, you can retire tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You can. Go to Walmart, buy yourself a nice 2-person tent, nice little warm sleeping bag and some camping gear, walk into any national forest and live out your life. Don't get caught because it's trespass if you stay in other past hours. You can retire. Now, the reality is that's not the retirement everybody wants, right? You don't want to live in your mom's basement for the rest of your life, right? That's not the retirement. And I hear the things I can't afford and stuff like that. We're going to talk about money mindset here shortly. But to achieve what you want to achieve, you got to look at, okay, I'm gonna earn a certain period, then I'm gonna not earn a certain period. So that's the traditional sense. And if you've got a job, right? You're a W-2 earner or whatever. That's your plan. You've got the one stream of income you're putting in your 401k and you're hoping it's going to pay everything. And there's a lot of pitfalls that can happen, but those pitfalls, you're not avoiding them by being self-employed or an entrepreneur. There's a lot of pitfalls in that area too. Mm-hmm. Because if you've got, I'm not going to name the names, but there was a health supplement company, and I know you had friends in it as well. It was a network marketing company, and they changed their comp plan overnight. Mm-hmm. People that were making multiple 6 figures went down to making less than a 6-figure, right? And so if that happens to you during retirement, and it's not just one company, a lot of That can be a big risk. So again,
Right.
multiple streams of income. But going back to what I was saying, if you're going to have a garden, right, and I want a massive garden, okay, let's say I go out and I plant that garden, or I plow up that garden, and I've got a half-acre garden. If I go out with 2 seeds of corn and put that in the middle of that garden, is that entire garden going to be filled? No, not at all. What's going to happen?
Get a few stalks.
I'm going to get a few stalks, a few more. Yeah, I got 2 kernels of corn, or 2 ears of corn. So I got more seed, but I don't have the time now. So that's what I'm saying. You want to stack as much cash as you can. You want to get in that habit early. And I hope to God you folks are teaching your kids this stuff at an early age. Okay. You don't want them to go through, oh, we don't talk about money in our house. Well, then you're a fool. I'll say it, right? You need to be teaching your kids this stuff so they can avoid all the pitfalls that you went through in life. But looking at that 10% is great to start with. If you're in your 20s, your first job, before you start getting in a habit of spending that money, 10%, right? But ideally you want to get to 25%. Yes, I said it, 25% of your income. Okay. Look what's gone on in the last couple of years in the economy with inflation, buying cars, buying, groceries, rent is outrageous throughout the United States. Mortgage rates have doubled in the United States in the last couple of years. Gas has doubled in the United States in the last couple of years. Okay.
Yep.
If you're not stacking that cash during your working years, how are you expecting to do it? You don't get to go back and do, well, it's a do-over. I want to do it over. Right. So I'm gonna step off the soapbox here I feel like I'm at the podium at church, but what are your thoughts on all this, Wendy?
I mean, most people we talk to don't have a plan. And now, thankfully, they meet with us, so we help give them a plan. But, we can't wish it to work out. And it's sad because I feel like I see a lot of friends now that are my age or a little older that they're taking care of their kids, and they're starting to have to take care of their parents. And not just physically, but starting to have to do that financially as well.
Yep, exactly. Which screws up their retirement.
Exactly. And I feel like with how often we see people not even close to ready for retirement in their 40s and 50s, that's going to get worse.
Yep.
And so if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your kids, do it for your grandkids. Seriously, you know what I mean? We say our kids, and go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Like our kids are, our family is the most important, yet we're not setting ourselves up to not be a burden.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly right. I mean, you look at that, and it's like people are living in La La Land, and I'm gonna put on the tinfoil hat now. So my tinfoil hat viewers, put those on, right? We're not taught about this stuff at school. Yeah. I've said it once. I've said it. That is by design. That is by design. Why? Because what you're taught is how to go out and make money. Why? Because they don't want you to know anything about taxes. So you're going to get hit at the full tax rate. And then they don't teach you what to do to invest. Why? So you're dependent on the government later in life. So you can't really you can't buck your job, right? Because I don't want to piss off the boss. Can I say that? I don't want to upset the boss. Because I don't want to get fired. I'll lose my job. I need this income, right? And you don't have any emergency fund set up. So when you get fired from one crappy job, you take the first thing that comes along because I need that paycheck, right? And you lose that freedom. And then, down the road, you're like, okay, well, I need that money. So this is all by design, folks, to keep you kind of enslaved in your job. You think you're free, but you're not.
If we're dependent on the government, they can fully control us in the future.
Exactly. So, again, number one is pay yourself first. You're the most important person. Budget, develop a spending plan. There's other videos we've done on that. But you want to pay yourself 10 to 25%. If you're young, 10%. If you're post 35, you should be creeping up really close to 20, 25%. If you're 40 and beyond, it should be 25% of your income religiously. I can't afford it. This is number 2, the money mindset. I can't afford it. Yes, you can. You got to figure out a way that the mindset shift in your head needs to be, how can I afford that?
Right.
You know it. You know you're going to need it. Sit down and run the numbers. Hop on any website out there about what do I need in retirement. Call a financial professional. Call a financial coach. Call us. We'll walk you through what a plan looks like and show you how much you're actually going to need. You cannot expect to put $500 a month away. Well, I get a 6% match at work, so that's all I'm putting away. Is that the 25%? No. Find somewhere else to get the rest of it putting away and working for you, right? But that money mindset of I can't afford it, get a spending plan and check yourself. I'm working with a client right now. I kid you not. They've got a lot of money allocated to travel and entertainment, and they're putting away zero for retirement. And I know that's not everybody, but I can't afford it. I got kids, I got bills, expenses, this, that, or the other, multiple streams of income. You've got to figure out a way and get that money mindset. And I know you're an expert on that, Wendy.
Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah, I'm constantly thinking about ways to make more money. But yeah, you got to make the shift. And like you said, how can I afford it? Like, what can I adjust? There's so many things. And I think we've done videos on this, but there's so many ways to find money, and there's so many ways to make more money. But my biggest failure and my biggest screw up in when I was building my business is I kept increasing my lifestyle. Right. And, we've done a video on this before, but I kept looking at the monthly payment of things rather than the true cost of things. And, I got myself kind of upside down, right? Like then when income goes down, oops, now what? And I see that happen a lot. And, and so I'm speaking from experience, like I've really screwed this up. And that's, now I'm turning it around and finding a way. I mean, part of why I joined you, right, was like making more money and finding other ways to increase income and focusing on those different types. I don't want to just trade time for money. I want to be able to leverage. And so, but there is a way.
Say that again. I don't want to trade time for money. I want to leverage. Yeah. Talk about that. We're going long. This is the extended cut today, folks, because this is important, but spend a minute or two on that statement.
Yeah. So when you only have so many hours in a day, so I don't care if you're an attorney and you make $500 an hour, right? You still only have 24 hours a day, and you can't work 24 hours a day. So leveraged income is making money off of other people's efforts. And it's the smartest way, right, to get beyond what you're doing now is find a way to create leveraged income. And there's many different ways to do it, right? And if you guys want, to learn how to do that with us, you can do it with us. And in fact, my conversation yesterday, I called John. I'm like, my plan for 2024 is, I want my leveraged income to far outpace my time for money income, my active income.
Exactly.
And so, and figuring that out, and anyone can do it, but that way you can get to your goals a lot quicker when you learn how to leverage.
Yep. So you leverage a team, you leverage a system. Think about the McDonald's, right? And I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're bringing up McDonald's. And I don't own McDonald's. It's not my franchise or whatever. So it's not my trademark there. I disclosed it. Great system. And I don't care if you want to admit it or not. I know you've been in McDonald's for the most part in your life at some point, right?
Some point.
The owner was not back there flipping burgers, folks. He was not back there, or she was not back there at all. Probably not even in the same state. They're using a system and people and leverage in order to make money for themselves so they can go enjoy life. That right there is wealth, freedom, right?
Yes.
And not being able to worry about that. So you've got to really change up your money mindset, and you're not going to get it in school. If your parents didn't teach it to you, I don't want to boo-hoo, figure it out, right? You got to pull yourself up from the bootstraps. And I love that when he's talking about this stuff, because it's one of those things, she didn't know about any of this. And now the student has become the teacher, and she's out there teaching this, and you can learn it too. So no excuses. That's part of a winning money mindset too. And there's actually a book. We'll put a link in it to you or in the chat that you download it. It's a book that I wrote about 8 steps to a winning money mindset. And we talk about this stuff in there. You're copy free. Enjoy it. Apply it, because knowledge without any application is like pearls to swine. It's worthless, right? So number 2 is your money mindset. Number 3 is, what do you look for when you grow money? Okay. Number 1, I'm not going to say what I was thinking about. Number 1, if you're only putting in your 401k, shame on you. If you're overinflating your 401k, shame on you. And I'm not giving financial advice here, right? Talk to a financial professional, right? If you want to talk to us, we can meet offline individually. But, and it's a big old but, and I like big buts, right? I cannot lie. But you've got to look at where your money's going, and it's got to have 3 key factors to be a winner for you, right? Number 1 is the obvious: growth. I want my money growing. And most of us out there, most of you out there, when was the last time you actually looked at your freaking 401k statement to see what
I hear a lot of people say, I'm afraid to look. Yeah.
It's your money. Why would you be afraid of your money? Right? It's because you're afraid of what's going on with your money. That's why. And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, sticking your head in the sand and minimizing that and avoiding that is not going to make the problems go away.
Right.
Nobody is going to care about your money as much as you. Watch it like a hawk. That whole story that you hear out there, oh, don't look at it. Don't look at your money. They don't want you to look at your money because they don't want you calling them asking questions. You should. If you handed somebody $100,000 and they walked away and 10 minutes later came back and they had 80,000 left, wouldn't you be a little upset? But yet we just expect, oh, it's okay, right? Now, and I'm not knocking advisors. I'm not saying that. The market goes up and goes down. You want to make sure you're getting good growth. And I want you to write this down. You want to look at actual rate of return versus average rate of return. Average rate of return is kind of like the 3-card money, little shell game going on. You can make it say basically whatever you want.
Yep.
Actual rate of return. What am I actually getting in return? There's also something out there most people don't even know about called a 12B1 fee. 1, 2, the letter B, the number 1. Look at it. Okay, what's that costing you? And ask those questions. So you want growth. And I'm talking, what is the net growth on this account? Not gross, but net. What am I actually netting? What's coming into my account? That's number 1, growth. Number 2, liquidity. Liquidity. Yeah. What do I mean by that? Well, so many people put their stuff in pre-tax, right? That's a tax strategy. They put it in pre-tax, which means what? It's qualified. I can't touch it until 59.5. And don't get me wrong, there are all kinds of different accounts out there. I'm speaking in general educational terms here, right? But you look at that, if I can't access it, I can't really leverage it, to use your word earlier, right? So I want something that I can leverage. If I've got an opportunity, if I've got, 300,000, for example, sitting in my 401k, and I've got an opportunity to buy an awesome rental property for 150 grand, why can't I use my money? Well, maybe you can get a loan or whatever. And like I said, there's several different ways to access it, but you want to focus on how accessible, how liquid is that money for you. So I can go out and take advantage, because I want my money working money. You don't want your money just sitting there. And that's why, if you've got a lot of money sitting in a bank account, your money's not doing anything. It's actually dying
declining,
every year. Yeah, it's actually declining due to what?
Inflation.
Boom, inflation. I think we're sitting at maybe 5-6% at the time of this video, or airing. So it's like, okay, that means your 100 grand that you have in the bank is now worth 95. But I still have 100 grand. It says right there on my statement. Yes, you do technically have 100,000 $1 bills sitting in there, but they don't buy as much as they did just 12 months ago. Think about that. Think about what you were buying in 2018 with a $100 bill versus what you're buying today.
And I have to throw this in there because we went long anyway, so I'm just going to throw this in there. People think, oh, well, inflation is down. It's down to 6%. It was at 8 or 9. No, it's just slowed down a little bit. It's not down. It's still way up from what it was, know what I mean, 2 years ago. So it's like kind of like it's running, right? And we've it's slowed down a little bit on how bad it is, but it's still high. It's still high inflation.
Yeah. So, and you got to look at that stuff. And I want everybody to educate them out there. There's a group on the far right and there's a group on the far left that they're just oblivious to what's going on in the reality. I'm talking to the people who, I don't really care what party you're in. What are you going to do for me and my family? Right? What are you going to do for me and my household? And that's who I'm talking to right now. The political parties, I'm not going to get all political on this, but either side, they don't really care about us. Okay. They look at us as a resource to pay for their projects through taxation and inflation. Inflation is another tax, folks. If you don't believe me, look it up. Google it. Google it. Right? There's a Google ad for you. So again, I want to get back to the main street of the message. So number 1 is growth. Number 2 is liquidity. Number 3 is protection. Okay. And what do I mean by that? How can I protect the money? You guys are building an empire. Every one of us, when we're in our 20s or starting out, I want this massive empire for me and my family, right? I'm going to do this, that, and the other, but yet we do zero to protect it. And so one little thing happens, you lose it, right? Or you lose a big chunk of it. If your 401k goes down, you just lost a big buck. Well, he told me I'd get it back. And you do. You do get your money back typically. But what did you
Eventually.
lose? What did you
Time.
lose? Do you ever get the time back?
Nope.
The student has become the teacher. I love it. You don't get the time back, folks. And hear me out on this. This is what I mean by this. In 2000, if you had 100 grand sitting in the bank, and we're not quoting actual numbers here, so don't get out your calculator. Well, technically, you're wrong. We're not going there. If I had 100,000 in the bank or in my account, right, my growth account, what happened in 2000, 2001? We had several things going on. We had Y2K. And for those of you that were there, you know, we all thought the world was going to end in the year 2000. And I think a light bulb went out in Australia, but people spent billions of dollars getting prepared. And it was exciting to see that bulb go, boop, but everything else was okay. Second thing, Y2K. So the second thing, well, you know, we had the unfortunate event of the dot-com bubble, right? Dot-com bubble. A lot of people were excited about the internet, and it was hot. It was a commodity. I remember I bought, what was that? They had a little dog logo, or the Black Rocket. It was Black Rocket. Yeah, there was another one with this little pet something. It was a hand puppet. It was so cool. Great commercials. Both of them are out of business now. And I bought stock in both, right? Because they were awesome. It was like .com, the worldwide interweb. I think Al Gore invented the web. At least he said that, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he did. Again, a politician saying something. So truth or lie, I'm not saying. Fact checkers out there, check that for me. So you look at that did a lot of damage. And then, you know, the big unfortunate event was obviously 9/11, and that did some major damage to a lot of people personally, but then the financial market suffered. So you had this massive downward, and then everything started coming back up because that's what happens. Hey, don't worry about it. You're going to get your money back, right? And you did. The money started coming back just in time for 2007, 2008. And if you haven't watched the movie The Big Short, I believe it's out on Netflix now. Watch it. You'll see what's going on. And you'll learn a little bit about history. Great movie. I think Ryan Gosling's in it. Christian Bale, huge fan. He's in it. But it talks about what happened in 2008. And I think Scott, who's the guy from Michael Scott? What's his name? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about from The Office. He's in it, but it's a great movie.
I'm not good with names.
Yeah, so 2007, 2008, and then the S&P went down. I believe it was like 38, 39, 40%.
Yeah.
So just as he was coming back, you lost again. Yeah. Don't worry, you'll get your money back. And you did. 2011, 2012, you were made whole again. Okay. So, you know, I still had my 100 grand. So I'm not out anything, right? Right. Let's think about that, folks. You're going to work 30, 35 years in your working career. I literally just cut out 12 years for Gen X, you especially. Yeah. You just lost 12 years of growth. You weren't growing. You were getting your lost money back. That is not growth. Hear me out on that. And if you disagree, chime in. I know I'm gonna burn some ears now. But you want to be able to protect that. So what do you look at? You look at different strategies. Again, it's all about diversification. It's all about I'm going to save at least 10% when I'm young. Starting off, a goal is to get to 25%. That's what they're doing in Europe. You know, everybody's, oh, we should do what we do in Sweden. And all. They're saving 25% of their income. And that's with all their social programs. It's 25% of their income. Okay. You go to Asia, almost 50% of their income is being saved because they realize they want to enjoy those later years, and you're not going to be physically able to work. Okay. Because you don't want to, you know, I just don't want to work. Or B, I physically can't work anymore. Yeah. You know, I know people that own their own carpet business, and I've got clients that own, house building and like roofing and stuff like that. Every time I talk to them, how's it? Oh, my knees are killing me. You know, it's that physical drain, right? Well, they're not going to be able to do that forever. Even sitting at a desk job, you're not going to be able to do that forever because you're not getting in shape. You're going to have a heart attack or whatever, right? So you eventually want to prepare, but, you know, have the right money mindset. You're saving 10, 25%. You get the right money mindset. And if you don't know it, learn it. No excuses. Learn it.
Plenty of books out there.
Plenty of books.
Plenty of YouTube videos.
Yeah. Plenty of YouTube videos. Take everything with a grain of salt. Inspect what you expect, right? Don't just assume, oh, okay, well, he's on video, so he must know what he's doing. Even my stuff, double check me. Sit down and have a conversation with me. I'll walk you through the thought process. Lastly, focus on 3 areas for your money: growth, liquidity, protection. Growth, liquidity, and protection. You work hard for your money. You want to see it grow. You want to have access to it to even go do some more stuff. And you want to protect it. Okay? So how do you do that? Get with a financial professional, a good one. and we've got a video on how to pick the right financial professional for you. Watch it. Don't just take the first Shlomo and, well, my mom and dad used them for 50 years. No. Okay. Things change. A lot of things change. And if they don't click with you and what you're trying to do, if you don't vibe with them, move on. Right. But that's the stuff you got to do. And again, I want to get real with this. And I know this is, like I said, the extended cut today, but it is so important because we're extremely busy. You know, we've got a lot of things going on in the economy. So clients have been reaching out because these videos and things. Not only that, this is our busiest time of the year anyway, but I keep seeing the same thing time and time again. And I've been doing this for over a decade now. I've been in the business for almost 3 decades now. You know, I started when I was 2. But it's one of those things that was a joke. It's one of those things that it doesn't have to be this way, folks. Right. Just with some minor changes, you can set yourself up for success and teach your kids.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And you don't know what you don't know. So, you know, my favorite thing of what we do is creating a money map for people, and they get to see, here's where I am, here's where I will be, here's what's reality, and here's the path to get there. So you have somewhere to start, because you don't know what you don't know. I know I didn't. I was like, I'll just keep making more.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they start off, if you have a conversation with a financial professional, right, and they start off the conversation, well, how much do you have now, rather than, well, what are you trying to accomplish in the future? That's a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag. I'm just telling you, from my heart to yours, I hope that helps you. I hope this information helped you. I would love to see a like or a heart. Click it below. Share this on your social media. We're trying to keep it real. And again, I'm not knocking anybody out there in the industry, but it's time our industry changes. When you look back over the last 20, 30 years, our economy as a middle class, as a class of earners, changed dramatically in the early 80s when we shifted from pensions to the 401ks and stuff. And that's really when that happened. But the education has not gotten any better. As a matter of fact, it's gotten worse. And it doesn't have to be that way. And we, the financial professionals, you know, all the agents, advisors, coaches out there and everything else, if we come together and show people how simple this could be, not easy, but simple, the world would be a better place. So everybody do your part. If you like what you heard today, please give us a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. If you don't know how to subscribe, go to our YouTube channel at blackswanmoney.com. And please help us with the algorithms. Again, make a comment, give us a little thumbs up or a heart, and share the information. That's what we're trying to do here at Black Swan Money with Money Moves. Everybody have a great week. We'll come back next week with another awesome video for you to use.